What's up guys, James here, how you doing? So this is my second video for today. It's a response to the Young Turks video, Macdonald's pink slime, and I'm going to be needing my little shiny tinfoil hat again for this video. Now, I agree with the Young Turks maybe 90% of the time. I think Kent can say some fucking stupid things from time to time, and I think Anna can be a little bit ditzy and dumb, and she seems to be Kent's puppet half the time as well. Now when it comes to this particular video, I do have some pretty strong disagreements with the Young Turks. I have a far bigger problem with a lot of the opinions expressed in the comment section by other users, but I'm just going to play their video and comment on it as it goes along, so you've got some idea on what they're saying.
A few years ago, we did that story about how Macdonald's uses this pink slime to make its hamburger meat and its chicken nuggets, right?
Okay, Anna, so immediately I have to stop you right there. For a start, Macdonald's hasn't used mechanically separated poultry since 2003, and secondly, the image you're putting on the screen is not mechanically separated meat. That is a fake picture. Mechanically separated meat looks a lot more like this.
And basically what it is basically meat that has been ground up very finely, and then they use something known as ammonium hydroxide in order to kill all the bacteria in the meat. Now this is not like great cuts of meat, right? It's basically like the odds and ends of the animal that are left over. And like I said,
really?
Yeah, obviously.
Okay, so Anna was reasonably accurate there. I'll go over the mechanical separation process in a tiny bit more detail, but I'll try and keep it brief. So you've basically got your chicken carcass, all the organs, the head, and all of that stuff's been removed. The legs, the breasts, and the wings are then removed to be used in better food products. And the chicken carcass, which is left over, is then going to be chopped up, blended up with a bit of added skin, and then basically forced through a metal sieve, and it's forced away from the bone, and you end up with something which is a bit like a paste. You've then got stabilizers and flavorings and stuff added, and from there it's basically fried, and you've got yourself a very cheap, low-quality food product. Now, absolutely nobody is arguing that Macdonald's is healthy. You know, it's not particularly good food, but nobody goes into Macdonald's expecting that to be the case. They go in because it's cheap and because it does an okay job at filling you up. As for the ammonium hydroxide, I will get to that in just a sec, but I'm just going to say that it's for now that it's used because there's an elevated risk of diseases, not because the carcasses are absolutely riddled with bacteria necessarily.
And then they have to use this ammonium hydroxide because of the fact that it has a ton of bacteria in it. And they use this nasty slush to make all of their products, right? Mm-hmm. So there's this chef by the name of Jamie Oliver who decided to really give McDonald's a hard time about this. And as a result, McDonald's USA has just announced that they will stop using ammonium hydroxide in their beef.
Wow, you got to give Jamie Oliver a lot of credit. At first I was thinking that maybe he was doing it to get some attention, and like, is that kind of...
Now, I think that's quite a presumptuous statement, because McDonald's official response is that they've been planning to do this for about a year now, but I am going to concede that it does seem extremely coincidental, and there is a possibility she is right, but it is a little bit presumptuous of her.
A cheesy PR move and stuff, but look, you got the job done. On the other hand, now your meat will have bacteria in it.
No, well...
No, I hope they found another way.
I hope they found another way as well. Who knows what that way is? But what I found really fascinating about this story, and everyone already knows this, right? You go to Canada or you go to a different country, and they have standards there. They have regulations put in place so fast food companies can't use a cleaning product in order to sanitize the beef. Mm-hmm. Right? So what's amazing to me is that a spokesperson from Macdonald's in Canada released a statement saying, oh, we've never used this disgusting product in our meat. Like, we've always only used 100% beef, salt, pepper, and that's it. You know, and I remember having a burger when I was in Europe once and thinking, and it was a McDonald's burger, and thinking, wow, this tastes really good. McDonald's is awesome. And it turns out that, yeah, it's not the same thing. It's so different. In the U.S., we have no standards. We'll eat anything.
Well, when I was in Taiwan, all the restaurants had signs on them saying, don't worry, no U.S. beef allowed. Okay? Because our reputation abroad is those guys will do anything for $1. So God knows what's in their beef. The goo that they use, it's pink. And the reason it's pink is because they shave some of it off of the bones and the blood mixes in.
Yeah.
That's why they got to use that bacteria-killing chemicals to get all the blood, etc., out of the goo. Mm-hmm. That's why you have 99-cent value menus, because if you're going to produce it for that cheap, you got to find a way to do it. So it's not like they can't do it with the bacteria-killing things. It just will cost you a little more, right?
Right.
Wow, let's go to $1.09. I think it's going to be okay.
So then basically, because Anna had said that ammonium hydroxide is a cleaning product, and basically implying therefore it's bad and shouldn't be in our food, and after looking over the comment section and seeing a load of other people freak out about ammonium hydroxide, I decided to leave a little comment. So I said, I hear their drinks still have over 50% dihydrogen monoxide. This needs to be stopped. And of course dihydrogen monoxide is water. I was merely pointing out the fact that most people were freaking out just because they heard a chemical name which sounded a bit nasty to them, and most of them had probably done absolutely fuck all research on the subject. And then, of course, being the good little skeptic I am, I decided to do a little bit of research and find out exactly what ammonium hydroxide actually is, what it does, and why it's in food. So after a little bit of research, and I'll leave lots of links down below to what it actually is, blah blah blah, I left the following comment. I wonder how many of you fuckwits who are freaking out actually know anything about ammonium hydroxide, or did any research before commenting. My guess is that most of you simply heard blah blah Macdonald's, blah evil, blah nasty sounding chemical. Ammonium hydroxide is ammonia combined with water and occurs naturally in all plants and animals. It is recognised as safe by every food safety committee, and there is zero evidence that it poses any health risks at current consumption levels. So that comment got thumbed right to the top of the Young Turks video in the space of about 15 minutes, so yeah, clearly there's a lot of people who agree with me. However, with the Young Turks video being about how bad Macdonald's is, it got a lot of attention from vegetarians, vegans, alternative health people, anti-vaxxers, anti-fluoride, anti-GM, and the pro-organic lot. Now, before I start, I'd just like to say that I have never worked for Macdonald's or the beef industry. I think that McDonald's food is a pretty shit quality, but it's no worse than a lot of the other fast food companies, and if you want to criticise them on anything, I think that it's worth criticising the way they conduct their business, and their monopolising. I also have no problem with organic food, and I would eat a lot more of it if I was on a higher income. However, I do have a problem when people want to try and use propaganda, lies and logical fallacies in order to discredit the non-organic food market. So I'm going to deal with some of the arguments which I was presented with on that video, and basically 99% of them are no fucking better than what I'd expect from tinfoil hat wearing fucking conspiracy theorists, so henceforth I'll be using this hat again. I hope your body's Roundup ready. How can you even compare those two things? Genetic engineering, small amounts of a chemical applied. Okay, so Roundup Ready. Since people don't seem to know what this is, it's basically a crop which is given a gene which makes it resistant to a certain type of pesticide called Roundup. The gene they call the Passover gene because basically when you apply the Roundup, it kills everything else and passes over this one crop. The reason why the Roundup Ready is a good idea is that instead of having to apply a whole cocktail of different types of chemical in order to kill all of the different types of pests and weeds and everything which could emerge on a field, you only have to use the one single product, which can save potentially absolutely tons of chemicals each year in the long run. You cannot spell or use grammar, why should I listen to you, the fuckwit? So yeah, I accidentally put an extra word into the comment on my comment because I basically copied and pasted it and fucked up a little bit and didn't check it thoroughly before posting. Oh no, I made a spelling mistake, therefore everything I says is completely fucking invalid. Well, actually, no, I'm not expecting you to just take my word for it. I'm expecting you to, I don't know, do a bit of your own research, maybe? It's used in cleaning products. And your point being there exactly. Limonene, that's also in cleaning products, and that's in lemons, oranges, and other citrus fruit. Should we just immediately stop eating citrus fruit because it contains something which is in a cleaning product? No, of course not. And the ammonium hydroxide is naturally occurring in every single plant and animal. It's a key component in protein synthesis. It's actually contained at a higher level in the bun, the condiments, and the cheese than it is in the actual burger itself. The problem is, we've got to work out, is it contained at a safe level or not? It's the dose which makes the poison. Virtually everything can be poisonous if it's at a high enough level, and absolutely nobody has presented any evidence to show that the level it is in beef poses any health risk whatsoever, especially compared with, say, the fats or other things in the burger. It's an inorganic molecule. I can't believe that this was actually used as an argument to try and say that therefore it must be bad. Okay, basically it's not an organic molecule because it doesn't contain carbon. But vitamin C and oxygen, they also don't contain carbon. They're still produced via organic means and they're still essential to our bodies. Just because something isn't an organic molecule doesn't mean it's not essential. Also, salt, sodium chloride, another thing, not an organic molecule, completely vital to human life. Nice Google search. A Google search would also tell me that fluorinated water and toothpaste pose no health risks either. Sometimes you don't need to reply to something, all you have to do is just underline it. I'm reading the MSDS on ammonium hydroxide right now and it's insane. Harmful if swallowed, avoid contact with eyes, skin and clothes, wash thoroughly after handling, ingestion, give several glasses of milk or water. Vomiting may occur spontaneously, but do not induce. Never give anything by mouth to an unconscious person. How many fucking times? It's the dose which makes the poison. At low levels, at the levels it's in at the moment in foods, according to all of the research I've seen, it poses absolutely zero fucking health risks. You know why it says all of those nasty things on the material data safety sheet? It's because that's at its fucking concentrated level. If you look at what it says for oxygen, or nitrogen, or vitamin C, it's just as fucking bad because they talk about how you handle the pure fucking chemical, not at the fucking minuscule fraction of a % level that it's in food. Show me some evidence to show that it poses some significant health risk at the level that it's in foods at the moment, and I'll quite happily turn round and say, you know what, I was fucking wrong on this issue. But it doesn't fucking excuse the fact that virtually everybody who's commenting has done either absolutely zero fucking research or has searched for things to back up their own point of view with searches presumably like ammonium hydroxide, dangers. So yeah, that's the fucking issue. Present evidence to show that in the levels that it's in food at the moment, it poses a health risk. Salt. There's another fucking example. If you don't eat any of it, you fucking die. If you eat too much of it, you fucking die. There's a safe and recommended level for these kind of things. Ammonia is listed as an inorganic chemical. It is present in animals and plants that are in decay. Have you ever heard of the term regulatory capture? It's when the lobbyists of a private industry are placed atop government regulatory agencies charged with ensuring that industry products are safe. This allows companies to bend or even eliminate safety regulations. Michael Taylor, Deputy Commissioner of Foods for the FDA and former lobbyist for Monsanto, is a prime example. Okay, so firstly, as mentioned before, all an inorganic chemical means is that it doesn't contain carbon. There's plenty of other inorganic chemicals which are completely necessary for human life, such as oxygen, water, salt, iron, etc. There's absolutely millions. Yes, okay, maybe ammonia levels increase after an organism dies, however it is still being produced in living organisms. Humans, for example, produce about 4.2 grams of the stuff per day. And yes, I am aware of regulatory capture. I don't think that the FDA are perfect. I think there's a few things which I do disagree with them on every now and again. However, when it comes to am I going to trust what the FDA and Monsanto says, or am I going to trust the anti-vaxxers and all of the other anti-science people who generally try and criticise them because the FDA don't put up with their bullshit? I'm going to trust the FDA on that one. And finally, I have looked at other sources apart from the FDA, and none of the other sources have shown me that ammonium hydroxide at its current levels pose any danger whatsoever, and you are the one who has to provide evidence that that is the case. It's not entirely about health, it's about the principle and what we want to eat. If the meat was good quality, they wouldn't need it. Yeah, sure, granted, if they used better quality meat, they probably wouldn't need to use as much ammonium hydroxide in their food production. But, as I said, nobody goes to Macdonald's expecting a really high quality meal. Most people know exactly what to fucking expect when they go there. I mean, yeah, they might not know the specific name of the ammonium hydroxide, for example, but do people really pay attention to that in other industries? If you buy a snack, do you look at the acidity regulators, the flavour enhancers, stabilisers, preservatives and all of that other stuff in there? Here's a skincare product. Says natural right on the fucking label there, yet let's look at the ingredients. You've got glycol, sodium benzenate, sodium lactate, cocoa glucoside, something else I can't pronounce there as well. If you go and buy a beer at a pub, do you expect the person serving you to warn you about the beer line cleaner, the Renovate used to restore the glasses, the detergent, the rinse aid, the small cocktail of chemicals in the yeast nutrient which is used in the production of it, the other flavour enhancers and other chemical and the other 10 or 20 different chemicals which are added in the production as well? Probably not. It just seems that when it comes to Macdonald's, people have this special level of hate, which, I can sort of understand, but, I think there's better things to criticise McDonald's on rather than a particularly mild chemical on the scale of things, such as their monopolising and some of their business ethics. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Comment, rate, subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Bye.